Hello, everybody. Welcome to season 2 of Reley's Career Talks. I'm your fabulous host, Foley.
I don't know about fabulous.
Oh
but
man, you gonna play me like
joking.
that?
I'm Rebecca.
Yes, and we have a wonderful, wonderful guest today. A friend of mine, to accomplished entrepreneur, author, all around person. But my introduction can't do her any justice. I'd like her to introduce herself to the audience.
Absolutely. Hi, everyone. My name is Gessie, last name Belizaire. For those of you who have not been following me on IG, I am so many things, right? When we think about who am I am woman, I am strong, I am daughter, I am mother. But amongst those titles, I think the one I'm most proud of, I am the daughter of the Most High. Also, as Foley stated, a certified life coach, a host, a podcast host. So we're kind of in the same industry. This is family. So thank you guys so much for having me on the show. I look forward to our time together.
Yes,
this has been a pleasure. Really excited
to
have you on our show.
Yeah.
So just let's get started. I'm gonna jump right in there. So you just mentioned you're a lot of things. You said certified life coach, you're an author. So we want to let the viewers know, what should they know about you? I think you should highlight the certified life coach part of your life, but anything career-wise, your entrepreneurship, all that's entrepreneurial activities, please let us know. Your podcast, let us know all about that so that our viewers can know a little bit more about what you do.
Yeah. So I want to, in the attempt to answer this response, I want to kind of touch base on what it means to kind of sort of be like a serial entrepreneur and how a lot on that. But if we think about who we are as people, we are not a single story, right? Look at you, Foley. I'm sure you are so many things more than what people see on the surface. You are not just a Black male.
Yeah.
There's so much to your story. And so for me,
that's what I've been trying to tell people.
Exactly. The same is true, right? So when you look at me, I don't think that I should be pigeonholed when 5 years I decided to get into life coaching, that was my only lane, because fortunate for me, God gave me many gifts and many talents. And so as long as I'm here and I have breath in my lungs and the creativity continues to flow, I'm going to continue to put out something that I know that I'm going to be proud of. Now, is there some people in the field or in the game that's kind of ruining it for people? That's true to any industry. So I hope I somewhat answered your question, but as far as life coaching, it's something that's still really new. I would say it got popular about 5 years ago, but it's been around maybe 10 years as a profession. And you see all these certifications coming out from different places, universities, and things of that nature. But there's really no real, and I don't know what is going on with legislation right now, but I don't know if that has changed in the last couple months. So say that they're a life coach, which is somewhat problematic. And so I think the best way that I could describe what it means to be a life coach, it's really somebody that holds you accountable for your goals and the things that you want to achieve. And so I never really answer the question for any of my clients, and I just empower them to answer the questions for themselves, whether it be through priority sequence questions, for instance, what do you think should be your first step, right?
Yeah.
We're not saying, I'm not prescribing what that first step should be. Or maybe I can pose a hypothetical question. What would you do if yada, 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 right?
Yeah.
So it's just a little bit about what I do as a life coach, and definitely looking to bring on more clients. I have right now, I'm getting ready to teach a 8-week course.
Nice.
Have I have a master class that I offer for free to try to introduce people to that 8-week course. Course is on healing. I think what has really come to the forefront with this pandemic is that a lot of us are dealing with a lot of stuff that we really address, whether it's past trauma, whether it's hurt, whether it's abandonment from parentals or any parental figure in their life, whether it be mother, father, grandmother, whoever raised you, right? And then it's in relationships, right? The relationships that you have, or the void you're trying to fill with, I call it the press town, whether it's, you know, an over addiction for porn or over exercising, overeating, under eating, you name it. We really try to prescriptively tackle healing from that lens, and really try to address a lot of some of the traumas that people are dealing with. That's my baby. I think a lot of the things that I come out with end up being my babies, but yeah, that's something that I'm working on presently. And one other thing that I wanted to highlight, I don't know when this will be published, so if it's not soon, I probably won't touch on it. Because oftentimes, sometimes, you know, you have to do, as another podcast, you're editing, that's not relevant anymore. So, but the 8-week course is something that is coming like far down. Yeah, absolutely. I also have a set of question cards that I came out with in February on Valentine's Day, actually. But the thought came to me in December, in the middle of the night. I woke up, and for many who don't know, I was in a very long-term relationship that I thought was going to last in forever, and it didn't. And I never like to say it was a failed relationship. I just like to say it was a long-term relationship that didn't end in forever. And it's about framing of your mind, right? Once I framed it like that, it was like, who am I not to, with my life coach, have an expertise in relationships? Who better be able to reflect on relationships than somebody who was in one for a long time that didn't in forever? So there are things that I may have done, or my partner may have done, that I'm like, okay, I could have done that differently. And so hence the question cards came. It was like, man, I wish I had these questions when we were in relationship, because maybe we wouldn't have been together that long. I would have been able to deduce and see some things that I'm like, were just non-negotiables for me. And we settle because we just don't want to be by ourselves, but it's like, we want to make sure the time that we spend on this earth, that we are living lives that are full of quality, full of what God or whatever you believe in is calling you to do. And so that's what those question cards are for. They're for people who are single, they're for people who are in relationship, to help them with conversation starters, and for people who are in long-term relationships, even marriages. It's a really good form of maintenance, you know, just like, I say this oftentimes, that's my elevator pitch, but for those that have heard it in person, but just like you go get a physical every year, it's that same concept. Prevention. It's not, there's something wrong. It's like, okay, how we doing? What am I doing? Okay, doing this good.
We doing good? Yeah, check in. Good check in. Yeah.
And that's all it is. And you know what? I must say, like, people want to remain in blissful dishonesty. Like, the truth for a lot of people scares them, but when I tell you it will set you free and it is so worth it, I highly encourage it. I mean, it's uncomfortable, but sometimes we have to get uncomfortable to get to the other side, which is bliss and all those other things that are, man, I need to be, but yeah.
No, this is actually pretty good.
I do have a question too, because I know there's been some kind of misinterpretation of a life coach and what it is. And a lot of people think that it's the same as a therapist or, a psychiatrist or, but can you tell our listeners the the difference between the two and how different these two fields are?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know intricately. For one, like if you see like a counselor, somebody that you go to talk to about possible past trauma or just your life, they're really there. Then, and from a medical perspective, oftentimes the terminology that they use is different. And a psychiatrist, they're able to prescribe medication, yet they're doing similar things to like listen to your whatever it is you're going through in that moment. Whereas a life coach, we're not certified to do those type of things, right? If you go to see a life coach, you have a certain goal you're trying to reach. If your goal is I want to work for a Fortune 500 company, yet you don't have the building blocks where you have the discipline or the schooling to go, how is that going to work for you? Like a psychiatrist or a counselor is not going to tell you that. Neither does a life coach tell you what to do, but we meet with you and we ask you certain action questions. And sometimes it's like, what practical actions can you take to overcome some challenges? Oftentimes it's the way, the framing, but also really out to help that person, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
That sounds
So
good. Yeah.
a life coach may, like, if there's too much like trauma that you're finding out, if say that person is like, I want to heal from past hurts, that's one of their goals. That it's a lot, and you're like, you might want to see somebody who is licensed for that part, and hence why many life coaches, if they're doing the way that they should, they'll start like a referral program to refer that person out for at least for a little while. They get the help that they need, and then they'll come back and continue with the life coach.
Okay, I like that. Thank you for definitely defining it. 'Cause I think things get blurred, especially when it's like, oh, you're helping someone, but there's different ways to help and different things that should be done in different fields. So thank you for that clarification. So I want to go a little bit more deeper into some of the things you do. And talk about maybe a challenge you had as a business owner, as entrepreneur, in in your field, because I'm sure there's things that have happened besides the pandemic. I guess can you highlight a challenge that you've experienced or faced? Yeah,
I think
in your area.
I think I mentioned it earlier. I think it's just for one, just like the imposter syndrome, feeling like it's the mindset sometimes, even though you're in this business, you got to keep your mind like in a positive state, because a few no's or a few bad weeks or a few I didn't make anything when I went out today, will get anybody down, right? Even somebody that makes their business to encourage other people, you need to constantly pouring into in yourself. And so self-care is so critical. And another thing that I would say is being a multi entrepreneur, where you have different products, which I feel are all related to me, but I think maybe some other people, or to the people consuming the things that I'm bringing out. And then that's something to also consider. You're always back at the drawing board and you're like, well, maybe I can scale back some of the things that I'm offering, or I space it out, or I count You know what I mean? Whereas I'm not doing too many. Okay, this week, and these are things I'm talking to you about that are some things that I'm implementing presently. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
that's good.
it's about pivoting. It's about listening to your body. All of those things. Those two things are like some of the biggest challenges that I have
Okay.
as an entrepreneur.
Okay, that's great. So, Gessie, Gessie, the start of season 2, we wanted to put a new question to our guests, and this question is probably going to make you smile. But what is when you were a kid, what was the career or the position you always wanted to be when you were young? Because for me, I wanted to be a Power Ranger, but you know that.
Second one of my coworkers is like, I wanted to be a Power Ranger when I grew up. You're the second I met. Oh my gosh. I wanted to be the Yellow Ranger. No.
She was cool. She was cool.
Yeah.
I loved her. But why do they have to make her the Yellow Ranger though? But
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm not gonna go into.
Yeah. You know, fun fact about that. You know, that show, they cut it from a Japanese show, and the Yellow Ranger was actually a boy in the original. Really? Yeah. So yeah, in the original, but the American one, they
made her a girl.
Yeah.
Oh,
you can see it because you can tell when. Yeah.
I'm gonna go watch it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to look that up. Foley.
Yeah. I call it my Foley facts. I'm sorry, Gessie. When you were a kid, what did you always wanted to be? What was your dream position you wanted to get into?
When I grew up, or when I was younger, I know I wanted to be a doctor. My dad used to videotape us a lot and interview us, asking us those very questions. So I have a video of me saying, when I grow up, I want to be a doctor. So I actually, when I went to college, that's what I went to undergrad for. I went to undergrad for biological sciences. But then my junior year, I decided to change my entire major and take on a new minor. And prayerfully, I was able to still graduate on time. But yeah, I thought I was going to be that. But freshman year, my biology teacher, he pulled me, he asked me to come into his office. And then he was like, why do you want to be a doctor? And I was like, I want to help people. And then he yelled back at me. He's like, that's not the only way to help people. And so it's always stuck in my mind. And so I feel like all the things that I'm doing now that I
you are helping people.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Did you ever ask your professor, why is he so angry?
Why are you mad?
But I think he was just matching my energy, because I was like, how dare you ask me? The doctor.
Yeah.
You're gonna tell me what I want to be.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think in some ways, you're still helping people.
Yeah,
you know, with
honestly, she still is helping people.
So that's a wonderful thing. It kind of came true.
I mean, you are doing what you wanted to do. Like, honestly, really think about it like that. Yeah, that's really nice.
I do want to talk. I'm sorry, what?
I was making sound effects. Don't worry
about
me.
Okay. Yeah, I do want to talk a little bit about, because of course you're an accomplished author. You wrote I believe several books too. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. So the first book is a comparative analysis. I wrote that when I was getting my master's at Howard. Shout out to the Vikings.
Okay.
And it's a comparative analysis between Haiti and Guinea in West Africa.
Okay.
Free. And so I looked at French colonization in both countries, how French colonization impacted both countries socially, economically, as well as politically. And so, yeah, initially when I had sought out to do the study, I didn't know what to expect. I had somewhat of an idea because I had a Haitian background.
Yeah.
But I learned a lot. And so with everything going on in Haiti presently, I've been vending a lot lately, and people are like, did you just write this recently? And it's just really timely right now.
Yeah, it is.
People to just understand how we
And I
got.
have it right here too, everybody. And so yeah, it's a really good book.
Yes.
Very. I love history, so yeah, especially how you talked about the French impact, with Haiti and Guinea, and also a lot of some parts of the diaspora as well too. So it's a wonderful read too.
Talk about the YouTube movement, a lot of freedoms that happened post, Toussaint Louverture,
That's my guy right there. Yeah.
Yes. Getting the freedom, it sparked a movement amongst other, colonized countries. And so I wrote an article that I'm waiting for a journal to pick up, where I talk about the ghost of kind of like French colonization and what can we do to make sure like it's not there anymore. Some of the things that I talked about that we can do is we need infrastructure, hubs, and I think we just need a reframing of our minds, because so much, like fully from Africa, a Kenyan would have less in common with somebody from Guinea-Conakry than a Haitian and somebody from Guinea.
Yeah.
Just of who colonized them, and particularly for the French. Like, I don't know the Spanish, the Portuguese, they all came in, but the way the French came in, they really messed with our minds. You know what I mean? A lot of them had children with the women on our islands, but they didn't claim them. But then some of them claimed them, but then they were like, nah, I don't want to claim you anymore. They would send school in France, and like, talk about abandonment, talk about a lot of things that you have to unpack, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm waiting. So I like to write, and academic writing and just fun writing. Had an opportunity to do some journalism for a couple years too. I used to work for a magazine that's no longer online, but I got to cover stories on people who were doing amazing things in the community. And some of them went on to become commissioners. Some of them are activists that you guys have heard of. And I got to interview them right in the beginning. And yeah, I'm just excited. So that journalism background and just being able to like diversify my writing has been really important to me. And I don't know who I was talking to the other day, but it was like, how do you go from nonfiction to writing a children's book? And I was just like, I have a 10-year-old, like, this is my muse, you know what I mean? If there's any message that comes from this interview, it's don't ever allow somebody to define you or put you in a corner or put you in a box. Like, you're meant to just be so great and to shine so bright and to spread your wings so wide. So just do that. You boo.
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
Thank you.
On that note, we really want to say thank you for being on our show, for taking some time to talk with us.
But one other thing we always wanted to say too, since we are, a career podcast and a career company too, we help people, to get hires, to get jobs as well too. What does it take for you, for someone to be in your organization or to work for you? What are you looking for, or either an employee or a team member or someone just in your crew? What does it take to join?
For me, you've seen, like, I'm so unorthodox in terms of jargon and things like that. I just need that person to be authentic and honest with themselves. If they're going to be honest with themselves, they're going to come honest to the work that they're doing for me. Things are huge, and be coachable. Everything, like, we'll figure it out.
I like that.
I think that's what, C-suite executives and like corps are looking for as well. They don't know it yet, but those soft skills, that is it.
Yeah,
They go a long
I
way,
know.
honestly.
Such a long way. If you're not coachable, even if what you have on paper, you're like, I know how to do Linux, but like you go to a company and they do it slightly different, even though you have certification, but you're not opening your mind because you're so concerned. Like, I have Linux, like open your mind and be like receptive to the growth.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I see that.
Definitely. But yeah, Gessie, thank you for coming to our show too. I really appreciate that too. It was a great conversation, great talks. You covered a lot too, and I think it's going to reach our viewers. And they're going to ask a lot of questions, and one thing they're going to ask is how they reach you, how to get in touch with you too. So tell us any social media you have or website, and of course where they can listen to your podcast.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely. So you can reach me at This Life I in Truth on I. You can reach me at 33 period truths with an S period cards on IG as well. If you guys know the truth cards that I spoke about earlier.
Cards you mentioned, yeah.
Yes. And then my website is www.thislifeiliveinTruth.com. They can also send me an email at booking@thislifeiliveinTruth.com. And my podcast is available on most platforms. So iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, you name it, YouTube Music, it's on there.
Okay.
I know on iTunes, I would love if you listen and you liked what you heard to leave a rating, because that's really what keeps us creatives going, you know? So it's having a space virtually to do this thing that we love to do. So thank you again for having me.
Oh, no problem. Thank you for coming up.
It was a pleasure to have you. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. We'll keep in touch.
Thank you so much.
All right. Take care.
Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye. So there you have it. We had the wonderful Gessie, certified life coach. As mentioned, she's also an acclaimed author. And she's just all around awesome human being.
Yeah.
So we've had on our show. So really thank you for watching for this episode, and tune in for the next. Yeah. Tune in for the next episode.
Yes, you can reach us at any time at and also you can look at our season 1 all entirely at all social media platforms. It's just Reley's Careers on Facebook, IG, YouTube, and LinkedIn as well too. And also if you have any, if you're trying to get your career started too, we do resumes, cover letters, mock interviews, and career coaching, counseling. Just submit whatever service that you need us to do, and we'll try to answer it as soon as possible.
Yes.
So
it's been a pleasure. So thank you guys.
And we have more to come.
Yes. Bye.
Bye.